Us. Stacy, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Tell us what you do, who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm a natural horse person, an equine professional. I deal mostly with neglected and troubled animals and rehabilitating them, getting them back to being okay with being around humans.
You have a gripe with the American Humane's
I do.
No Animals Were Harmed trade.
I do.
Okay.
It occurred to me about a year ago. As I said, I'm a natural horse person.
Sure.
And I don't use anything mechanical or invasive on my horses. And as such, I was not a fan of movies, horse movies in particular.
Because they use things like electronic stimulation?
I came to find out, yes. But what's more obvious is when you're watching a film that deals with horses, they have a variety of bits put in their mouths. And this is going to sound crazy, like, well, you have to have a bit to ride a horse. And no, that's not necessarily true. Mm-hmm. My problem was looking at this, watching the animal's reaction. All you have to do is look at the horse's face and their eyes, and you know they're in pain. You know they don't understand what's going on.
And where is the pain coming from?
The pain is coming from the mouth. This is a foreign body inserted into a very sensitive cavity.
Okay.
And my colleague, Dr. Cook, states in one of his writings that, if it is not handled with the finesse of a neurosurgeon, it becomes an instrument of pain and torture. And now doing this for a living, I see it every day, unfortunately. And so medically, physiologically, there's pain being inflicted. And as I'm watching, clips of movies, I'm saying, well, these horses are getting hurt. You really can't argue that. So how is it that you get a tag on the end of your film that says, oh, no animals were harmed? I didn't understand. And that's when I started doing my research and getting into American Humane and their guidelines.
And what did you learn there?
What I learned, well, I downloaded the entire, I think it's 175 pages long. And in Chapter 8, there are pages 75 to 104. That focuses on the safe handling of equines and hoofstock.
Okay, and you're talking about the American Humane's guidelines that you downloaded, right?
Yes,
okay.
That's correct. And there are numerous paragraphs, which I've cited in my report, that state that the use of sharp spurs, severe bits, and electronic stimuli are strictly prohibited. And these paragraphs were unique to the rest of this document because they contained a special advisory in bold letters with an asterisk after it. And the sentence specifically states that in some areas, use of sharp spurs, severe bits, and electronic stimuli are prohibited. So I questioned, why would the guidelines say I can't use these things, then go on to say that in some areas I can't use these things? It was doublespeak, and it didn't set with me.
I just wanted to lend credence to what you're saying from the animal's perspective, because I work with a lot of horses. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I find is just because somebody thinks it's normal or the way it's supposed to be doesn't mean it's the way it should be. And horses totally agree with you.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you.
So what do you think the motivation is behind the American Humane?
Well, all I can tell you is it's a strange thing. They are contracted and financed by the Screen Actors Guild. And the Hollywood machine runs on the love of money. That's their business. That's what they do. Now, I'm not implying that American Humane is, evil and that, but because great strides in awareness have been made. But when it comes to horses and equines, mules, donkeys, what have you, they're falling really short. In a conversation I had with one of their representatives, I asked her, why the doublespeak? And her response was, it's written specifically vague so that the representative on set can make their own judgment. And I wondered what qualifies a person to be in the film unit. What's your horse experience? And she came back with, they're mostly racetrack folks and dressage people and people that have had horses.
Do you think it's a lot of ignorance as well?
Yeah, it's a lot of misunderstanding because, in my opinion, the horse is probably the most misunderstood animal on the planet. And what we see in the movies, general public automatically equates to, oh, that's the way it should be done. That's the way it needs to be done. Obviously, it's a horse.
Tell me what movies you've seen this in.
Just about every movie with a horse, with the exception of Spirit, because that was animated. One was, just recently, Robin Hood, that received an outstanding from American Humane, which is the only way it qualifies for that tag of no animals were harmed. There are different and varying levels of the degree of acceptable to them. There's monitored acceptable. Oh, God, it takes a degree in doublespeak to understand the guidelines.
Sounds like there's a lot of loopholes. Have you reached out to the American Humane at all?
I've tried, and they don't really want to talk to me. They, excuse me, they keep assuring me that, everything, oh, no, we have the animal's best interest in mind, and we're there to protect them. And that's all they're saying to me.
And that's probably, again, this is Joy, that's probably true, but I think of all the animals that we relate to as, quote, pets, I think the horse people are like the last in the line to get on with what is really the humane bandwagon.
You couldn't be more correct.
Why do you
think that is, though?
I'm looking at it. I don't know really anything. I'm not a horse person. I grew up in the city. I'm a dog and cat person. But my wife and I were just watching True Grit, and it's funny you should say that because we were saying it about the horses watching the movie, saying, you know what? How do these horses? I mean, they look like they can get hurt. Just by the falling and just the way, I don't know, just the way the movie progressed. We were a little taken back by it watching it.
Well, I think what happens is that, maybe at one time they were equal in the way we treated the animals, but more and more people have cats and dogs and have learned how to respect them and treat them over the ages. But not everyone has horses, so it's a little slower in the coming.
A little behind the curve there.
And horse people are definitely stubborn about their beliefs.
Is this true, Stacy?
100%.
Okay. Stacy, do you have a website?
I do. I have two, actually, if I could throw those out there.
Please do.
The first one is for my business. It's purelynaturalhorsemanship.com.
Okay.
And my other site is, ironically enough, entitled hollywoodhorses.org.
hollywoodhorses.org. And, of course, we'll put links to all the websites you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.com. Stacy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
1-866-405-8405 if you want to chime in now.